Hey, here we are. We made it. It's a new episode. We did it. Congratulations. Congratulations to me. Congratulations to you. Might sound like I'm sarcastic in my voice, but I'm not being sarcastic. This is sincere. This is good. We're continuing this together. And it's only going to end up good. We're good. This is good. Well, today we have a pretty interesting episode. I'm going to be talking to a friend of mine who has a very positive outlook on everything. He's always optimistic, generally upbeat and happy. He tries to find the positive spin on virtually any situation. And I thought that was important too, because we can't just talk gloom and doom and what we consider our problems all the time. I think it's good to hear from some people who, while might not necessarily be normal, they exude happiness. They are happy in life. And I thought no better person than this guy right now because he's a very happy guy. I always joke about how he has a rabbit foot up his butt because he just falls into stuff. I mean, granted, he's putting in effort, but it's the same effort as walking down the street and finding $100 bill on the ground. And that's not a slight against him, but yeah, I find it interesting when people have that kind of disposition about them because, as I'm continually trying to improve myself, I will get mad or angry or frustrated with something and I will hold on to it. Used to, I would hold on to it for a long time. But the past few years, I think I've been better about letting it go, not worrying about being right about things, that kind of stuff, so that it's easier to go back to being happy. That's one thing I am trying to train myself on, is not holding on to certain emotions, not letting it ruin your day. And I'm trying to teach my son that too, because he loves to hold on to stuff. Something happens at school, then he lets it ruin his day, and I'm trying to help him do that. And I like to practice what I preach, but at the same time, he's definitely the priority. I would rather him learn now than me relearn now. At any rate, I am trying my best not to hold on to stuff. I may have a grudge here and there, but it's with good reason. You don't fuck with my family. So, I hope you're doing good. I really do. I don't know you. I wouldn't mind knowing you. Maybe we can both help our own social anxieties by talking to each other. Let's see, what else is new? We got approved for iTunes, so now you can subscribe to the show and not have to remember, oh, it's Tuesday. I need to download the new episode. It's already downloaded for you, baby. You got it. I think that's as close as to an ad as I'm gonna get anytime soon. This is gonna be weird since I'm gonna be constantly trying not to smile while talking to you.
I always smile when I talk to you.
I know you're always smiling no matter what. You're really positive.
Not always, but keeping that uptake on life, it helps, I guess.
Well, you're really optimistic. You have an optimistic outlook on a lot of things, which is very different from mine.
It's like it can just get shittier, so whatever happens, happens.
So you take the shittiness with a little bit of happiness too,
Of course.
because you're learning from it.
Exactly.
I mean, I understand that, but for some reason, like with me, if shittiness happens, then
that's your day.
it is my day. A lot of the times it is. It can be, but it shifts too. It's weird. But you are very optimistic in a lot of things. You hold on to that throughout your day. It seems anyway.
I mean, I just wake up with, not having any type of vision or goal that I'm trying to achieve. So, like I said, what happens, happens. And I'll be happy with that.
No preconceived notion for the day.
No, then I wouldn't be upset at myself or pissed off at.
You wouldn't feel disappointed that something didn't happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I'm here for a not optimistic reason, but I'm happy about it because I get to see you guys.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you see the light,
side.
the bright side.
Exactly.
Okay. And I mean, but you do feel down.
Of course. I mean, everybody has to. I don't know if I hold it in too much, but just with everything else, it outweighs that pressure of the downness. So
there's been a couple of times though that like I've tried to contact you, and you're like, you hit me up like a day or two later, and you're like, I really just did not want to answer the phone.
I mean, I need that. Everybody needs that time alone, away to just process stuff and just do a hard reset. And hey, let's do it again.
Is that what you're doing, or are you like for me? Whenever I would get like that, and it hasn't been like that in a long time, but whenever I would do that, probably a couple times a month, I would just be in this deep pit, just hanging out in my room, like wherever I was living at the time, and just not sulking or anything, but just allowing myself to be completely bummed out and torn down and accepting it and just almost reveling in it, but not, if that makes sense.
It does. And I just see that, I am surrounded by people that make me change that. I mean, if I talk to you, it does cheer me up, like on the phone. If I see my niece when she gets out of school, I always make a joke at her, and it just kind of brightens the day. So just surround yourself with people who do have that impact on you. I mean, I know that sometimes, your family can piss you off or get you down, but it's your family. I mean, they brighten up a lot of things.
Okay. I can get that because I know there's been a few times that I've called you or you've called me whenever I've been in one of those moods, and just shit's been downhill all day, but we've talked, and by the end of the phone conversation, I thank you for that because my spirit has been lifted essentially, and I value that a great deal. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, my number's available if anybody needs that.
Okay, we'll leave it at the end of the episode.
Just no.
And it's funny you mentioned surrounding yourself with family, because and for me that's difficult to perceive because I mean, of course, my creative family, I love them and they do that for me, but it's hard to rely on the other family.
I get that, and again, you just have to make the best of it, and sometimes there is that bright light you were saying.
Okay. I mean, I know this is. I'm just curious about this, but have you ever been diagnosed with any kind of mental illness, anything like that? Have you ever had any issues in your childhood where you were essentially, for lack of a better term, checked out?
I actually have never gotten myself evaluated by a professional for that.
Okay.
So I mean, this is the same way with somebody reviewing a movie. I don't listen to what other people has to say about it. I do it myself. If you give a movie a horrible review, I'm still going to go watch it and see how I like it. So if somebody tells me my life's this, I'm like, well, that's my life. So let me do the change here. Let me overcome stuff.
You're all about self-medicating.
Yeah.
And trying to fix yourself by yourself.
Exactly. I mean, of course, you need help from people, but I don't think that there's a drug or prescription that can really fix you. It's you yourself that needs to make that change.
I've learned that I always thought that I could fix myself. And
you can. Just you
I don't know that I completely agree with that because sometimes it takes a push from people, and not necessarily like a push like kick you in the ass type of push, but for instance, whenever I would go to see a counselor, and she would say things that, or maybe I would say something. Usually, it would just be in my head. I would say it out loud. There'd be a click. Something would fall into place. The pieces would fall, and sometimes she would suggest something, and again, it would click. So, I mean, I think that having an outside would be very beneficial.
Okay, so why don't you listen to yourself when you have those issues? Like, talk to yourself about that. And
Like out loud?
sure, why not?
Because I think that's crazy. No, I don't. Not necessarily that it's crazy, but just because, again, that took somebody else telling me fell into place. That makes sense. Why not say it out loud? It took you telling me that.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't have to go see a professional. You can go talk to a friend about this, and
You can and you can't. There's some things.
there is, but there are people that if you have that relationship with, they're not going to judge you for anything. Like
Well,
I've never judged you for anything.
Likewise, I love you more for it.
Thank you.
And I do. I love you, man.
I love you too.
It's a good movie.
You got the best actor ever. Slapping the bass.
Slapping a bass.
I mean, sometimes you do need to have that conversation with yourself. I mean, don't think of it as being crazy.
Well, of course, yeah. It's not. I mean, if you're speaking out loud to a voice that's in your head, then yeah, that's crazy. But if you're just reciting stuff, your thoughts out loud, that makes sense. That's not crazy. But it's interesting. This is one of my notes. I don't know. I think we've already covered most of this, but it says, you're not just normal, you're exceedingly happy, optimistic, and for lack of a better word, lucky.
I mean, if you just don't have that, what am I trying to say with this one? Like I said earlier, if you don't have that kind of goal, like, everything's going to be a surprise, and just take the good with the bad. I know.
So with that optimism, you kind of look at it like every day is Christmas morning. Every experience that you have, you're opening up a gift, whether it's good or bad.
If Christmas is your thing, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, because you're getting a bunch of stuff, so you're getting a bunch of experiences crammed into a day.
Yeah, sure.
So then you're unwrapping, and sometimes you get underwear that sucks, and sometimes you're getting a record, which is cool.
I actually don't mind the underwear.
Yeah, I don't mind. I love socks.
Exactly. I mean, this morning I actually ordered socks and underwear. I haven't done that in like a year, and I was like, I don't go to the store. I just ordered everything on eBay.
On eBay?
It was
Amazon?
Cheap. No, it was a lot cheaper. People take offers, and they...
You made a best offer on underwear and socks?
I did, and they accepted it. So I was like, hey, I spent, $25 on a good amount of underwear and socks.
One of the staples of my Christmas was getting new socks. Big ass thing of socks. That's wonderful. I love that. I love the socks. I said if I didn't have to worry about money anymore, I'd never wear the same pair twice.
And I wear my socks till there's holes all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I noticed I had an odd amount of socks, and the ones that were remaining had a couple holes. So I was like, I need to order some of that.
This one's kind of a tough question. So you're not pretending.
No.
You're not putting on a happy face every day, and inside you got some serious shit going on that you kind of keep really deep inside, and then whenever you're by yourself, you're just fucking sad.
No. I mean, I think if I did have something, you would probably be one of the first people I would call. I probably would talk to my brother, who's another person. Again, just if my mind's not there, like to have that feeling, I'm just gonna hopefully be happy about the day.
All right. The next part, and this is kind of both of our personalities, but I want to talk to you. I want to pick your brain about it. Collecting.
Okay.
because I think that is that's a definite mental personality trait, that need to want the things that you don't need.
That's a lot of not necessary things that I collect. And I think because I do that, it keeps my mind off of maybe other things that other people would latch on to. Like if
They would worry about.
yeah, exactly. Like if they're having a bad day about something, they'll be like, well, you know what? I just found this amazing record I've been looking for, or something like that.
Just to put it in perspective for anybody listening, how many records do you think you own currently?
Currently,
Yeah,
um,
because I know I've helped you move,
you have helped me move.
and I know that wasn't nearly any of them.
I got rid of a decent amount of those, but I still am buying more than I should be. I would say a safe number out there would be 14,000 records.
And that's just like records, full albums. That's not counting 7 inches, box sets.
No, I think that does include that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would include those. Just because I did get rid of a lot of things the past couple years.
And whenever you were a kid, were you big on collecting, or did you trade a lot with friends?
I traded a lot, actually.
You didn't hold on to stuff.
I did. There was a certain, like, I collected baseball cards. Jose Canseco, I would never get rid of his stuff. Like, that was what I collected. And I think I got that from my dad. He liked to collect weird things. We'd always go to, like, thrift stores or, like, the antique malls, and he'd buy things. And I think that's where
What
I got
did
it
he
from.
collect?
Yeah. Well, cars when I was really young.
Like fully functional
Yeah.
driving cars?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, we had some money. But then we moved to Arizona, and there was like no money in Arizona. But we'd go, and he'd buy like Native American pieces. It's an Arizona thing.
Like
Like you would have an Arizona room, and
Yeah.
then like it's all this Native American like art or like vases or
a wooden Indian?
no.
Is that kitschy, or is that
Yeah, no. Like we would have like a set of vases that were hand painted, and then we would have fake leaves in there. Just it's Arizona. It's gonna dry up, so you did not want to water your plants in Arizona. But yeah, that was something that I kind of enjoyed doing, like when we traveled. And then I got into like card collecting, comics as a young kid. I had a cousin that was I think he was like 12 years older than me. And so he was into that. And he moved to Arizona where I was. And we would just go together and go buy comics and cards. And I guess I never really stopped collecting since then.
just carried over and went into whatever your next interest was?
Yeah.
Because you're into video games too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to play them, but I'll collect them.
Is it bragging rights?
Somewhat.
A little bit.
Sometimes. But I guess for that, it's just more like I had all that as a kid, and I remember like keeping everything in their boxes, like everything was like nicely visible, and I don't know. I guess when I was younger, it was cool to have my friends come over. I was like, "Oh, dude, you have all these games?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Come over," because we weren't allowed to like go to other people's houses.
Really?
Yeah.
Were that just fear of your safety, or?
Yeah, I mean, we were originally from Los Angeles, and just everything that went on in LA, either gangs or just we were kids, so it's like parents worked, so it's like, well, you guys got to be home but by the time we get home. And so I mean, I didn't spend the night somewhere till like my junior year at a friend's house
In high school?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was interesting.
Back to the collecting. You carried that on into adulthood, and to this day, you can get rid of a big majority of them. But and I fall under this category too. You're still buying every day.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like you almost can't keep your head above water, but it doesn't feel like you're sinking either because you're enjoying it. But do you have anybody that kind of brings you down on it or about it?
I mean, I'm staying with my sister currently, and she's like, "You buy a lot of stuff. You don't have the room. It's technically my room. That you're putting all this stuff in." Um, but no, I mean, everybody knows that that's what I do, and like I'll go out for a drive or something, and I'll have like a family member with me. I was like, oh, we're gonna make a stop here, and they're like, okay, and they know. And then sometimes I'll get a text message, even from my mom. Like she's like sending me pictures of records like that she's found, and even though it's like not what I'm into, like the stuff that I want, like just because she noticed it, she's like, "Hey, do you want me to get this for you?" I'm like, "No, it's okay."
Yeah, but it's really sweet. Like,
Yeah,
it's very sweet that you would do that.
Oh, definitely.
Because like mine, like I always feel like anxious whenever we go out somewhere because I'm like, hey, can we stop here? Because it's always no matter what. From whenever I was a kid to now that I'm married, and my lovely wife still tells me no. So now gotta wait till we do our little Austin or Houston runs.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about some of these questions? Like, are you upset with anything so far?
No, not at all. I'm enjoying the talk of this, explaining the collecting thing. There's not a lot of people that I talk to, I guess, right now. Just with my current job, I'm always traveling.
So not many close friends, or just like mostly acquaintances.
Yeah, exactly. Like I meet people while doing what I do or while I'm on the road, but there's nobody that I'm like, hey, let's go hang out. I guess at the moment, like my niece and my nephew are my closest friends over there, and they're the ones I do things with. And
do you think it's also a little bit to do with like our age?
Oh, definitely. I mean,
because everybody kind of grows apart in the late 20s and growing into the 30s.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I would say like I'm not in a single place that I'm starting to grow a bond with somebody like somebody does when you're at school or you're in a physical workplace that you're at like 40 hours a week at. So I'm always everywhere, and so like even dating at this moment, like it's become difficult just because I'm never at the same place that often.
But even if you were dating, you wouldn't be at the same place as often.
Well, that's a different story. But, I mean, I guess, yeah, that's...
We'll leave that alone. Okay.
Enough for the podcast.
Enough for the podcast. Okay. Man, I think this is going to do it. Okay. I feel good about this. It's great.
Awesome. I mean, if we do our excursion, we should do one while we're on the road.
Maybe.
Or not just on the road. Like when we the end of the day and just talk about how you're feeling, like how that trip.
Oh man, because because
you're a different person when you're on the road with me.
I am, because once I get exhausted, you can tell.
Yeah,
and you're either gonna get me being manic and just kind of loony, where I'm just antagonizing you, or I'm going to be like just shitty and down and not talking, or not even not talking, but just kind of bummed out about everything and ready to jump out of the car. And
yeah, but then there's those times though that you're just you hit a good streak and you just like the happiest. Like other than when you're with your family, of course, but you're just like in such a good mood, and it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, that happens too. It's kind of sad that it takes stuff to do that.
No, it's stuff that you like, stuff that excites you. I mean, I mean, I get excited when I find something I don't have or like never seen before.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to that excursion as well.
Awesome.
Hopefully, we can find another word besides excursion to describe it. I like trip.
Adventure? Or
we're not on Indiana Jones or anything.
I mean, we could be.
I mean, sometimes I'm running away from giant balls, but
well, hey, I mean,
we'll leave our hotel shenanigans.
You're a little short round over there.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on and doing this for me. I mean, this is a big thing, man. So
just don't tell me you hate my snakes. Sorry.
Keep them out of the plane, Jock. Well, that's another one down. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the positive outlook of Damian and look forward to bringing you the next one. Again, if you ever want to reach out, try Facebook, or you can email me at troubleunderstandingpod@mail.com. Thanks, and stay happy.